There is a time in women's sprinting that no living athlete can run. It was set before Sha'Carri Richardson was born, before most of the women chasing it today took their first breath. 10.49 seconds. Nearly 40 years later, the fastest women on Earth keep slamming into that number like an invisible wall, and not one of them has come within 400ths of a second. I'm going to tell you the story of that number, and the woman fighting hardest to erase it. If you love this sport, take a second to subscribe and follow along. The number belongs to Florence Griffith Joyner. Flo-Jo. On July 16, 1988, at the U.S. Olympic Trials in Indianapolis, she ran the 100 meters in 10.49 seconds and shattered a world record that had crept forward by hundredths for a generation. The old mark was 10.79. She didn't shave it down. She ran 0.3 of a second faster than any woman in history. She raced in bold, one-legged bodysuits and long painted nails, and she left the entire field behind her. That September, at the Seoul Olympics, she broke the 200-meter world record twice in a single day, finishing at 21:34 and walking away with 3 Olympic golds. Both of her sprint records still stand. But here is what makes them a ghost. The wind gauge for that 10.49 read exactly 0, while the gauges for the events happening beside her on the same track registered gusts far above the legal limit. The record was ratified anyway, and every sprinter since has been chasing a number that may have had the wind at its back. For 38 years, the fastest women alive have thrown themselves at that wall and bounced off. In 2021, Jamaica's Thompson-Herah, who swept the 100 and 200 at back-to-back Olympics, ran 10.54, the quickest any woman had gone since Flo-Jo, and still 0.05 short. In 2025, American Melissa Jefferson-Wooden matched that exact 10.54. Over 200 meters, Sha'Carri Jackson got closer than anyone alive, running 21.41 in 2023, 0.07 off. In a sport measured in thousandths of a second, that is not close. Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce built one of the greatest careers the event has ever seen, the only woman to win 5 World 100-meter titles, and never came within 1/10 of it. No woman has come within 400ths of the 100-meter mark in nearly 4 decades. And there is a second shadow over that number. Griffith Joyner improved so violently in 1988 from very good to untouchable in a single season that whispers of performance-enhancing drugs trailed her for the rest of her life. She never failed a drug test, not once. But she walked away from the sport in 1989 at the peak of her powers, and the speculation, never proven and always denied, never fully faded. When she died in her sleep in 1998 at just 38, the questions only grew louder. The record has outlived the careers of everyone who has chased it, and the life of the woman who set it. Then came the woman the sport bet on to finally end it. In June 2021, Sha'Carri Richardson won the 100 meters at the U.S. Olympic Trials in 10.86 seconds, orange hair flying, and became the face of American track overnight. She had been a prodigy for years. Back in 2019, still a teenager at LSU, she ran 10.75 to break the collegiate record. Now she was going to Tokyo. She was the story, and then the story collapsed. Days later, a drug test came back positive for THC, marijuana. Richardson said she had used it to cope after learning from a reporter in the middle of an interview that her biological mother had died. Marijuana makes no one run faster, and the country erupted over why a grieving 21-year-old should lose the Olympics for it. But the rules were the rules, and they did not bend. Her trial's result was erased. She accepted a 1-month suspension. By the time it ended, the Olympic 100 meters had already been run without her. She watched the games she had qualified for from home. On the Today Show, she refused to hide. "Don't judge me," she said, "because I am human." She was 21 years old. What she did next rewrote the whole arc. On August 21, 2023, in Budapest, Richardson lined up for the 100-meter final at the World Championships, drawn in lane 9, the outside lane, where you cannot see your rivals. She could not watch Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce and Sha'Carri Jackson pull ahead early. She simply ran them down. She crossed the line in 10.65 seconds, a championship record, the fastest any global final had ever been run. Jackson took second in 10.72, Fraser-Pryce third. Then she turned to the camera and delivered the line that would define her comeback. "I'm not back," she said. "I'm better." For the first time in years, people were talking about Flo-Jo's record as if it might actually be in danger. But that record has a way of humbling everyone who gets close. At the Paris Olympics in 2024, Richardson was the favorite. She got a slow start in the rain, and Julian Alfred of St. Lucia, winning the first Olympic medal in her country's history, beat her to gold. Richardson took silver in 10.87, with her teammate Melissa Jefferson taking bronze. Days later, she anchored the U.S. 4x100 relay to gold, chasing down the field on the final leg for her first Olympic title. Then 2025 turned cruel. Injury wrecked her season, and she arrived at the World Championships in Tokyo ranked 56th in the world. She clawed into the final and finished 5th in 10.94, while her own teammate Melissa Jefferson-Wooden won gold in 10.61 and erased Richardson's championship record. "2025 owes me nothing," Richardson said afterward. "The women keep getting faster. The ghost from 1988 has not moved an inch." Here is what the numbers refuse to settle. We are living through the deepest era of women's sprinting that has ever existed. More sub-10.7 runners, faster tracks, better shoes, and more science than 1988 ever dreamed of. Julian Alfred, Melissa Jefferson-Wooden, Shericka Jackson, Sha'Carri Richardson. The strongest field the event has ever assembled, all chasing a woman none of them ever got to race. And a record set by a woman who has been gone since 1998 still sits above all of them, untouchable, wrapped in a question about a wind gauge that read 0 on a gusty afternoon. Maybe it falls next season. Maybe Sha'Carri Richardson is the one who finally does it. Or maybe 1049 is exactly what it looks like, a number from another world. Protected by an asterisk no one can prove and no one can beat. Records are supposed to fall. That is the bargain the sport makes with time. This one refuses. The chase is not a footnote to this sport. Right now, it is the sport. If this is the kind of story you want more of, the next one is already waiting on your screen. Tap it, and let's keep going.